calling all my footy fans from all around the globe. Straight out of NYC, this is The Line Breaker.
Hey, what's up? Welcome to The Line Breaker. I'm Pano.
I'm Dimitri, aka GC.
And we are back because there's not one continental final going on this weekend. There are two. We spoke about the Euros. Now it's time to speak about Copa America. Copa America 2024, hosted in the U.S. Have you enjoyed this tournament so far?
It's been a proper fighting
Cage
card.
match?
Yeah, cage match.
Fighting card?
Yep.
I heard Logan Paul wants to fight Luis Suarez.
Yeah, with a little side
That's
of
a
footy.
tasty matchup. hey, as I said on Twitter, you know, this makes a UFC with a side of footy. That's what Copa America is. People are gonna get mad at that, but it is true. It's definitely not what we've been watching at the Euros.
Yeah, completely different. Although the two teams in the final have been quality compared to the other teams.
I'm gonna have to put my agendas to the side for this episode.
Agendas? What agendas?
Because Colombia have earned their way to the final.
They haven't earned their way?
No, they have. They have earned their way.
Oh, yep. They're riding a 28 game unbeaten streak heading into this final.
They beat Uruguay with 10 men.
10 men for a half, yeah. And they've just been impressive. They also got a result against Brazil, which they needed to top that group, which they did. Although Brazil didn't have a great tournament, but still a pretty big result. And yeah, they've really shown to be like a powerhouse in this tournament. James has rejuvenated himself. I don't know what's gone into him.
He couldn't even cut it in Greece, and somehow he's performing at a high level. Yeah,
he's one of those guys where it just doesn't work out on the club level, but he puts on the international jersey. He's a whole different player. 6 assists this tournament so far. That's
which leads and is a record, you told me?
Yep, a Copa America record.
He's also leading for goals and assists naturally because he has 6 assists. He has 7 goals and assists, so he's running away lead with that. But on the other side, Lautaro Martinez, 4 goals, leading the Golden Boot race right now. Okay, we can't only talk about Colombia. There's another team in this final, and that's Argentina.
That's probably who people expect to win.
I believe that was my pick.
That was my pick as well. Although it's going to be a very interesting matchup because this Colombia side is no slouch. Very, very strong support from these two countries as well at this Copa America. We've seen stadiums not be completely filled out, but as we've seen, Messi and Argentina filled out MetLife in the semifinal.
All Colombians in Charlotte, and it sounds like it's going to be a lot of Colombians in Miami.
A lot of Colombians, a lot of Argentines. There's going to be support for both teams, incredible support. I think they're to the top 2 most supported teams at this tournament. Outside, I think Brazil was not as they're up there, but I don't know. Colombia and Argentina have a strong support in this tournament and in general, but yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see. You do have Argentina going to win their 3rd major international trophy in a row. I don't count the Finalissima as a major international trophy.
They played Italy, so it shouldn't count.
That's another topic for another show. But yeah, they've won the Copa America, they've won the World Cup, and they're going to defend their Copa America title. Can you name me the last international team that won 3 major international trophies in a row?
España.
Yes.
I remember those. World
2 Euros and a World Cup in between.
Yep.
Similar to what Argentina is trying to achieve this Sunday.
And with a certain Leo Messi, there's a lot of Barca DNA in these trophies, I guess you could say. Yeah, I mean, look, I still think you know what? I'm gonna rephrase that. I'm gonna talk about my predictions later. Let's talk about the teams a little bit more. Argentina, obviously, they speak for themselves. They have Leo Messi. They have Julian Alvarez. Enzo Fernandez has been playing as the deep lying playmaker. They have a strong defensive unit with Tagliafico on the left. On the right, it was Montiel, I believe. That's who played against Canada. And the two center backs were Otamendi.
Nope.
No.
The two center backs.
Oh, it wasn't Otamendi.
It was Lisandro and Romero, who've had a.
That's who it was. Yeah.
Who've had a solid tournament, and people are saying that this pairing, they complement each other very, very well. I think Romero has grown into being in discussion for one of the top center backs in the world.
That's a bold claim.
I mean, listen, he's had the performances to prove it. I think the only thing where he lacks, where I saw a few games in the Premier League, watching Tottenham, is discipline. I think, listen, defending wise, he's aggressive. He's good in the air. He's a strong physical defender, and then
he can score goals.
He can score goals with the ball at his feet. He's very comfortable. He's very calm and very good with the ball at his feet too. Can make, solid passes. Doesn't get too nervous. The only thing again would be the discipline and just losing the temper. But other than that, I think he fixes that. He's world class. I think he's had a strong showing with Argentina and good on the club level as well.
And what about Lisandro?
Lisandro has had a great tournament, and like people have been saying, and I have to agree, is they complement each other so well. To be honest, I preferred Otamendi over Lisandro, but Lisandro has just proven to be that gritty, small defender. Again, great, comfortable with the ball at his feet, and they're different that they complement each other so well, Lisandro and Romero.
And overall, I just think that this Argentina team, they kind of have everything. They have everything. They have pace when needed. Yeah, sure, Di Maria's, he's getting up there in age, but, they have players there. They have a strong midfield, strong defense. They have a fantastic goalie. How could we forget? I mean, look, if this game goes to penalties.
Oh, it's a wrap. If it goes to penalties, it's a wrap. I think
dunzo.
Big Emmy can beat anybody. If Argentina goes to a shootout, I think you should just hand them the trophy. Don't even kick the penalties. I think he's that good.
He has everything too, He's not bad with his feet. I feel like he doesn't have the rep for it, but he's not bad with his feet. He's 6'5". He's jacked and he's crazy. I mean, the stuff that he does in the penalty shootouts is hilarious, but it's also kind of crazy. But he gets the job done.
He gets the job done, and that's honestly what you need in a goalie. I mean, none of those guys are for the most part stable. I mean, every goalie's a little crazy in their own way, but Emmy just
loco.
Yeah, Emmy just shows it, and he's proud of it, and it's must-watch TV. Another player who's been having a great tournament for Argentina, you mentioned earlier, leading goal scorer of the tournament, Lautaro. Although he wasn't the starter at the World Cup, he's been given some opportunities this tournament. He's come on and he's proven to get a ton of chances and put a lot of them away. He's been having a fantastic tournament, and I think that bodes well for Argentina, having two attacking options that they can put up if something isn't working. Whereas, in the World Cup, it was mostly featuring Julian Alvarez to spear the attack. But now, if that doesn't seem to work out, Argentina can always fall back on Lautaro Martinez, which isn't too much of a fallback. You're getting very high quality attackers to be paired up with Messi, who can score goals himself or just basically put it on a platter for you.
Speaking of Messi, what do you think of him, not necessarily setting the tournament alight thus far?
Yeah, he hasn't been having like a crazy. He hasn't been like having a good tournament, kind of under the radar. He has one goal. Does he have one assist?
Let me double check right now.
I think he has one assist and one goal. Yep, one assist and one goal. So I know he picked up a knock in one of the group stage games, I believe, and then he played the quarterfinal against who are they playing in the quarterfinal? Peru?
No, I feel like
No, it wasn't Peru. It was against Ecuador. Sorry. He played that game hurt. Obviously, he didn't show out too well, and I feel like that game he was just on the pitch to just attract attention. He wasn't like, I think from the coaching standpoint, he wasn't there to really influence the game. I think they knew he was hurt and couldn't like really do too much, but I think he was just there to impact play and free up other players, because like the players on the field at the time don't know how hurt he possibly is, and you always have to expect that he's at full strength, full health. Obviously, we got a better and improved Messi, who looked much better in the semifinal against Canada, which is a good sign. So now with a few days break leading up to the final, maybe he could be at 100% if he's not at 100% already. So that's always, an X factor and something to consider for Colombia. Very, very scary if Messi's 100% and on his game. But very quiet tournament. Nothing Messi-like.
Yeah, and you know what? We've had Enzo Fernandez pulling the strings at as that deep lying playmaker. We've had Rodrigo de Paul being the dog, as usual. He has been. He's got that dog in him.
Yeah, I know. I know what you meant.
Who's the other center? Oh, McAllister, also kind of being more attacking, but also got that dog in him.
Yeah, and you got Rodrigo de Paul.
I already said.
Oh, I thought you said McAllister. Sorry.
That's who you laughed at when I said he's being that dog.
Yeah, sorry.
What? So
I had a moment.
So look, I like the balance in the midfield. They don't necessarily have too much height in that midfield, but you know what? They're making do. They're creating chances, most importantly. But look, this Colombia team, look, they have impressed me. I know I got into a little bit of it with some of the Colombian fans pre-tournament, but you know what? The Colombia team has impressed me. Rios, who's one of the guys who I mentioned, who I don't know why he's playing in Brazil still. He's like a center mid defensive midfielder. He's 24. He's still playing in Brazil. I don't know why. He seems like a pretty good player. I think he could earn himself a nice European move from here on out. Obviously, Munoz from Crystal Palace has been fantastic. He's a right back, but he's basically, I see him ending up in the box. Ironically, that's also the guy who got the red card, deservedly, by the way. He got a second yellow. That should have been a straight red. That was great. I don't know how you're elbowing a guy. I don't care if Ugarte's pinching you. You can't be elbowing a guy like that. So that's, I don't want to delve too much into the aftermatch stuff, right, with the fans. I don't want to, probably don't want to touch on that too much, but the game itself with Colombia, look, they have a good defense, high intensity team. And you know what I will say about Colombia, a big thing that sticks out to me, and is something that you don't necessarily see with a lot of teams, like, U.S. soccer included. They have a good squad. They have a good squad, but they're also really well coached. And the coach is bringing the best out of them. He's maximizing their talent. There's obviously talented players on there, like we said, James, Cordoba, the striker. He did a fantastic job holding up play. Luis Diaz, of course, needs no introduction. He was running riot as well. So, they have a good squad, and they have a coach who's pushing them. You see the passion. They're riling up the fans. They're getting the fans into it after every single play. Every time the ball goes out, they're getting on the fans to get louder. So, it was a spirited effort, especially after being down to 10 men, even though they were up 1-0. By the way, Uruguay should have been up 2-0 within the first 20 minutes. It was ridiculous. Darwin absolutely choked 2 clear-cut chances. So if Darwin puts things away early, we could be talking about a different game, and we could be talking about Uruguay in this final, but at the end of the day, Colombia has played well the whole tournament, so, they earned their way to the final too. I have a weird feeling Colombia could win this.
Oh, without a doubt. I mean, the way James has been playing, I think if he continues it into the final, creates for his teammates and just is on one, I think for sure. It's not shocking. It's not a crazy upset. It's very possible. This Colombia team is very, very good.
It's funny too because 10 years ago, obviously we have the 2014 World Cup, Greece versus Colombia. I feel like that's when James announced himself to the world. You know, that tournament is when he popped off. Actually, wasn't it that goal against Uruguay? Like he scored that screamer against them.
With the chest and the crossbar.
Yeah. That was against Uruguay, right?
Yeah.
Oh, that's even funnier. Wow. That's the tournament that he kind of announced himself to the world. I mean, he had some hype back in the day before the World Cup. He was at Porto still. He kind of had like the hype as he was going to be like the next Ronaldo. That was the hype that he had, that he was going to be the next Ronaldo. And then he went to Monaco because they got bought by like a Russian billionaire. So he went there and it was kind of weird. I think Falcao went with him. And he kind of, it was kind of like back and forth, a little iffy. But then that World Cup is really what put him on center stage, and what earned him his move to Real Madrid. And it's interesting. 10 years later, he's had a weird career, to say the least. He's had stops in places like Bayern Munich, but he hasn't done enough for them to want to buy him. He was deemed not good enough to play for Olympiacos in Greece. Now he's at Sao Paulo. It's a weird career, but you definitely cannot deny that he saves his best for Colombia.
Yeah, totally different player for the national team. It's it's crazy to even like think about the differences between club and country.
I really, as you know, I definitely had a little bit of a Colombia agenda on me, but look, I can also, give credit where credit's due. They're playing well, obviously way better than the U.S., that's for sure. Although, again, I maintain, I didn't say that Colombia had a better team than the U.S. I just said that the squad had more overall talent. But, maybe I was wrong there too. Maybe I was, especially with this bum U.S. team. I mean, Greg Berhalter got fired, so that's a good start. We can thank, what did I say in my tweet? We can thank Timothy Weah, the Reinas, and the Copa America refereeing crew for Berhalter going down. It was a good day in America. It happened, was it yesterday officially? Yeah. We're recording this on Thursday. Greg Berhalter was fired on Wednesday. It was a great time. Great time. We celebrated, we partied. Not actually. This Copa America, though, overall, have you enjoyed it?
It's been a very interesting watch. Very very different style of football compared to the Euros. But yeah, it's been enjoyable. It's been a solid watch.
I'm not gonna lie, it's kind of crazy. These countries hate each other. It's actually crazy.
Yeah, it's bitter rivalries.
Every time I felt like a player got the ball, I was like waiting for them to get absolutely crushed.
Yeah, it's one of the like game styles where it's like if you hold on to the ball too much, you're asking for it. You really have to go 1-2 and let go. Any
tackle by like the benches, like was gonna set something off. Like you had players like halfway on the field after a crunching tackle on the sidelines. It felt like a fight was gonna break out at any moment between the players. I gotta say, Copa and CONMEBOL footy in general is crazy. It's just like it's like what's the word? A pressure cooker. It's like a ticking time bomb. It's like just something is ready to go off all the time from minute 1 until the final minute, and as we saw after the match as well. I mean, for Uruguay, this has to be a disappointing tournament, right?
Yeah, I think they really had a strong shot. I said in the earlier episode that I thought they had one of the best chances to win it, better than Brazil, and that was proven to be right, although they did fall short. And I think we both predicted that the only thing that would hold Uruguay back from winning this tournament was just Darwin not finishing and spoiling too many chances, which was the case against Colombia.
Yeah. Look, Uruguay was in control of the game until the red card. Uruguay was in the driver's seat. Or maybe until the goal. I'll say, how about this? Until the goal. by Colombia, Uruguay was in the driver's seat. They had a lot of chances. Then after the goal, they got a little rattled, but they were still creating chances. And then after the red card, I just felt like they completely lost control of the game. It was playing into Colombia's hands. It became, the dark arts and just time wasting and all that, and just kicking, and obviously Colombia bunkered down into a low block, and we're just trying to defend for their lives. So it's got to be disappointment for Uruguay, because they probably were the third best team at this tournament, and they didn't make it to the final. You had Brazil not being there. Well, they beat Brazil. So basically they were the second best team left in the tournament, at least, according to the bookies, or you could say on paper. So to not make the final is a disappointment for them, no matter what. Colombia deserving it or not. It's definitely a disappointment. Bielsa, it's a disappointment for him. I felt like they just ran out of ideas in that game. It was strange. It was very strange. They were unlucky. I think Suarez hit the post or the crossbar.
Believe so. Going back to the final, just wanted to ask you, what is your matchups that you're looking at, or just key players that are gonna, like, you're looking forward to seeing if they have a huge influence on the game?
I'm going to go with, as long as he's healthy, I'm curious to see how Rios does against a strong midfield like what Argentina has. I'm also curious to see what Cordoba does against the Argentinian backline. And probably my last matchup is going to be Leo Messi. I'm curious to see if Colombia lets him get on the ball, or if they just kick the living heck out of him and just try to keep him from being influential. I feel like Colombia is going to make this a really scrappy game for Argentina. I think this is going to be a really tough game. I'm not going to lie, I had Argentina as my pick, but something about how Colombia has been grinding out results, I feel like they're going to make this a really gritty match. I can see them scraping through. I can really see Colombia winning this game. I know, we kind of touched on it before, but just with the matchups that I just kind of said to you, I feel like a final, it kind of plays into Colombia's hands, because they got nothing to lose, right? They're the underdogs here. I mean, as much as they can be an underdog, being whatever that is, the fifth, sixth best team in the tournament, the onus is on Argentina here. So Colombia kind of does have nothing to lose. They haven't won a Copa since 2001, I believe, or they haven't been to a final since 2001. One of those. And yeah, I feel like it's going to be something where the odds are stacked against them, and they just kind of use it to their advantage.
Yeah, for sure. I think the game definitely does play into their hands. Even the storyline, going in there unbeaten, you have this type of aura to yourself. 28 games unbeaten, and going into a final of a major tournament. Two players I want to highlight. Nothing really spicy here. Not really gonna be taking you guys to school and putting you on, giving you guys a lesson. The main guys, James Rodriguez and Messi, the two creators. I think that's what it's gonna come down to. Who can create more for their team? Who can give their team better chances, more chances? Some stats that I want to read out to you guys from FotMob is involving Lionel Messi and James Rodriguez. James Rodriguez leads the Copa America in the most chances created with 17. Third place is Messi with 13. Although Messi leads Copa America with the biggest chances created with 7, and James Rodriguez is second with 5. And with all that being said, they're tied for second with expected assists at 1.7. So obviously these guys are creating a ton of chances, big chances for their teams. And I think the person that can be stopped, or in this case contained, will hinder their team, and the person that will be able to create with a lot of defensive assignments, defensive attention to them, the guy who can create the most will propel their country to the trophy.
What are the biggest matchups you think for I would say this this game overall? Like, give me some key matchups. I said some of mine. How about you?
Well, I mentioned Messi and James, who can create more. I want to see, like you said, how Cordoba does against the back line of Lisandro and Romero. Both have been playing very well, very solid, but, Cordoba just has to make their lives very difficult. Want to see if Luis Diaz can create something off the wing. He's also very dangerous, can take over a game, so he's always very interesting to watch. And I think what Argentina is going to try and do to stop James or contain him, I think you should expect Rodrigo de Paul to be all over James, fouling, getting in his ear, talking to the referee, and just being a menace on the field and trying to disrupt James's play. I could see a few scraps or a few coming togethers of the players due to Rodrigo de Paul being a little too aggressive with James at times to get him off the game.
Gun to your head. Score of this game.
2-1 Argentina.
I'm gonna say 1-1 and Argentina wins in pens.
Ooh, that's a good shout. That's a good shout.
But you know what? I'm very pessimistic on it. I have a feeling. I don't know what it is. Just I saw the Uruguay Colombia game, and I mean, look, I know Argentina's a different team than Uruguay, but just seeing how there's definitely more quality in this Argentina team. Yeah, some of the Uruguay plays, it was overhit ball after overhit ball. Like, I know that there's more quality, less, Uruguay is a very athletic team. Obviously, it was a Bielsa team, so like they just run, and I feel like there wasn't a lot of technical quality there to like break Colombia down. There's definitely going to be more of that with Argentina, like more technical quality to be able to break down that mid block or that low block of Colombia. But I don't know. I just have this weird feeling with Colombia now that they're in the final. Again, agenda aside, I put where it is. I keep it real. I keep it real how it is. How about this? You said 2-1, right? Who'd you say would score?
I didn't mention anybody, but
who do you think?
Since Argentina is going to win another major international trophy, in my opinion, I'm going to say one.
Own goal.
No. One of them is going to be Lautaro, and the other one is
own goal.
No. And the other one, the guy who's always shown up in every final, every big final for them, has scored the big goal.
Montiel?
No. Has helped. It's been Messi's Robin. His Robin. Batman and Robin.
His dog?
No. Di Maria.
Oh. Okay. So no Messi goal.
No Messi goal. Maybe an assist.
Maybe a goal
Maybe
contribution.
An assist, but no goal in this game. I think he's going to be heavily marked. A lot of attention. And I think Di Maria scores in all these big finals with Argentina, and I think he's going to come through again. And Lautaro's going to put the finishing touches for that for the golden boot of the tournament as well.
I could see Luis Diaz getting the goal for Colombia. Has he had a goal yet? No. He must have, right? Wait, Diaz. Oh yeah, he does. He has two. He has 2 goal contributions. Does that mean? Does he have goals? Is it goals? He must only have 1. Oh no, he has 2. He has 2 goals.
1 penalty goal.
Okay. I don't think it'll be a penalty. I feel like it's be something gritty. I don't know. Colombia's been gritty this whole tournament. They've been a gritty team. Give me one player aside from who you said with James or Messi. One player to look out for who you think will be integral in this game, who we haven't spoken about yet. Like you mentioned, like James and them. Like, give me one player who you think will be integral, aside from James and Messi.
Also, aside from like De Paul.
I mean, if you want to say him, you can.
I'm gonna say DePaul. I mentioned that I think he's gonna be the main stopper to the James show, and I think he has a big job on his hands. And I think if he comes through and contains and stops James from just being so creative, creating chances for his teammates, and just closes down on space and makes life difficult for him, I really think he can be the big difference maker in allowing Argentina to play their game and helping lead them to victory.
I think it's going to be one of the defenders on Argentina, because I think that they're really going to have to be tight defensively and really scrape through this. So I'm actually going to go with Lissandro. I'm going to give you a reason why I'm not going to say Romero. It's because, look, obviously this Colombia team is very physical. They're a big team, tall team. And Lissandro's going to have to bring his A game. He's going to have to be just as physical. He's going to have to make up for his aerial deficiencies. And he's going to have to be integral in playing out from the back. Because if this Argentina team is going to try and break down Colombia, it's going to have to come from the very beginning, from building out. He's going to have to pick out those line-breaking passes, which he's good at, to really pick out this Colombia midfield that's going to be very press heavy. They're very physical. So it's going to be his job to pick the lock in the middle to start those plays. So I think Lissandro is going to be big. But other than that, you have any other closing thoughts? I mean, it seems like we're pretty close in terms of what we think is going to happen.
I don't really have too much to add. The only closing thought I have, probably my first one, is I think Colombia's unbeaten streak comes to an end on Sunday.
We will see. But we'll definitely have a lot of fun watching it. So yeah, we have our picks. This has been Summer Ride. This has gone by so quickly. This Copa 2, we said it with the Euros. This has gone by super quick. Please remember, like, comment, and subscribe on YouTube. Give us those 5-star reviews on Apple Podcasts and on Spotify Podcasts. Leave a review on Apple Podcasts too. Like, give us those 5-star reviews. It means a lot, and it pushes our podcast to more people, just like you guys. We love the community we're building. We're growing every day. We appreciate you guys. So let's just keep it going. Remember to follow us on the socials at @the_linebreaker on Twitter. You can add me Pano_footy on Twitter and Juicy_footy for Juicy on Twitter as well. So add us, interact with us, ask us questions. If you have topics you want us to talk about, let us know. All right. So other than that, my name is Pano.
I'm Dimitri, aka Juicy,
and we're out of here.